north where we're at in Barrow.
No.
Kotzebue.
Here in Point Hope.
When the great darkness comes in,
We go through the darkest phase.
when the sun is gone,
We see a tiny little bit of twilight in the horizon, but it's totally dark. It seems like that they will start to creep out of nowhere and start to get big and play out there.
Sort of like a yellowish green ribbon that's dancing up in the sky.
Kiuguyat, angiya, kalutak pinya, angiya. Hey! Kiuguyat, angiya, kalutak pinya, angiya. Hey! Kulek tuara tu minyak pinga Kiuguyatigun. Can you tell me about the Northern Lights?
They were mostly green. The colors are like red and purple. They were going in a zigzag, going back and forth. A zigzag, but no corners. It's just going around like a snake.
There was a huge blotch of purple near the edge.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I stay out past my curfew to see them. They're just super magical and they dance around. It's super beautiful.
Me and my husband and son were out driving and we seen something green moving from the sky and go right to the edge of the road, and my son said, "Mom, did you see that?" It was green, actually green. And I thought, I didn't know what it was, but I think it was the Northern Lights that went really low right in front of us and disappeared into thin air.
One time, a sailor got off a ship and he asked me, "How can you guys live here? It's so flat. It's you guys live in almost complete darkness in the winter, and then there's 24-hour sunlight in the summer." And I love it. I said, "It's dark, you know." And to me, walking at like 5 in the afternoon or so, and it's dark. To me, it's bright because there's the stars are twinkling, the northern lights, the snow is sparkling, the snow is bright, and to me, it's just beautiful. And I see no darkness. It's just beautiful to me.
Back in the days, it normally dipped below between -50 to -80 below chill factor. The dug team was running so fast. My mom can really hear the dug, you know, the fresh snow crackling with the dogs running. And she said her brother tied her down on the sled in the back, and she could look up in the sky, and there were Kiuguyat geese all over during the whole trip from Pakuk to Barrow. And the dug team, you could hear the crackling of the snow because it was so quiet and dark out there. And she said those northern lights were so green and all over the sky on her way home.
He always starts singing, Kiuguyat, ayo, ya, Yeah. Ta-da! They always start moving real fast. We used our imagination. They used to have more imaginations that I can keep up with. Where? Yeah. Yeah, we had, I mean, just like looking at clouds, you know how they form? That's how it was to us. It was a show of a lifetime.
At Kiuguyat, what are the Northern Lights?
As kids, we used to get really excited and we'd really whistle. We wanted to see the northern lights come really low.
Yeah.
And then when it's time to go home, because our houses were spread apart and our house was up on a hill.
Yeah.
So my brother, my two brothers and I would run home because we were so scared of the stories that our grandparents told us about the northern lights.
Yeah. The elders used to tell us not to whistle so much.
Don't make too much noise.
Not having to walk by yourself.
Otherwise, if we do, those northern lights will come down.
Take your head off.
And then use it for football.
Kiuguyat is the common name that is used in stories that is used to scare children into coming home on time at night.
To obey what they wanted us to do.
When I was growing up, the school system needed us to go to sleep early and wake up early so that we can go to school on time. So the city council created a curfew. If you are visiting your neighbors or not home yet, and it's 9:30, the northern lights are out, guess what? They're gonna chop your head off and they're gonna play with your head like a football.
And it's scary back then because we had no buses, no transportation. We'd walk, from across to home. And when they come out, that's when we start running home, scared for our lives.
When we see the northern lights.
Oh my gosh, they'd be flying right over us and we have to go home really fast because our heart is pumping and I want to go home and, be safe. Otherwise, they're going to chop off my head.
And one of my cousins, why, Alan? She looked at us, she says, because you see those things up there? The orange one? No, it's that yellow one there. And my eyes pretty green, looked like looked like people standing up there. She says, that one and the yellow there. If you make too much noise, if you don't listen to what I'm telling you, it's going to take your head and then use it for a football. You see it? Look. They're chasing one right now. Look.
I think that's what scared us. Dun man, kaum makinig nga keroyam, kaum makiksivain man as tema kinakanaksivluni apun mon. Apun umasi kaum makinig nga kivilaksivluni. Yeah. And what I just said was when the northern lights especially get really bright and strong, you can literally, the reflection will bounce off and you can feel like it's almost, it's gonna chop my head off.
One way to deter the
northern lights when they're coming down to come get our heads, and you know, we need more time to get under shelter, like that under the airplane or something. You know, it's dead of winter, it's cold, and occasionally we'll come across duck poop. You pick it up and throw it up, and it's supposed to, you know, up higher. And I've done that. And you know, sometimes we didn't have mittens, but it was sub-zero, you know, so it's frozen solid. I mean,
like a rock, right?
Yeah.
And we believed it, and it worked.
Yeah.
So we used to run home real fast, put our head down, and make it to the door.
Did you hear the story about when they cut your head off?
Yeah, that's just a fiction.
I can't reach.
You know, they're not scary.
They used to be like that, so they can keep their hats on, and because if you have your hood on, they won't get you.
With all this beautiful color, and they call them the Northern Lights because they're up north.
Kanokluting Kiuguyat kanyanak sisuvat. How do the Northern Lights become visible?
Scientists at the University of Alaska Fairbanks Geophysical Institute shoot rockets into the aurora to study it. The physical science story of the aurora begins with the sun. The sun is a bright star at the center of the solar system. It is the source of nearly all of the energy on Earth. The sun constantly blows charged particles out into space in what is known as the solar wind. Huge explosions on the sun, known as coronal mass ejections, can send many more particles hurtling into space, sometimes in Earth's direction. The movement of molten metal deep within Earth produces a magnetic field. This magnetic field surrounds Earth and protects it from the solar wind. The constant pressure of the solar wind distorts Earth's magnetic field. It compresses the field on the side that faces the sun and stretches it out on the dark side of Earth, much like the wake left behind a boat as it passes through water.
The sun is a fitting starting point for a phenomenon observed by so many people. In some Inupiaq communities, the sun sets in midwinter and does not rise above the horizon for months. During the summer, the opposite is true, with the sun remaining above the horizon day and night. The long periods of darkness inspired traditional dances to welcome the return of the sun. Welcome, my son. Now we can go outside and take longer walks. Adiga. Hello there, sunshine. You are beautiful. We're always happy to see you back. Yes. We didn't say November. We didn't say December, January. We had our own terminology that represented each new moon and full moon. And we called the month of February Sakinya Suguruk, which means the sun is getting higher and higher and seem to be bigger and bigger. When we start to get more and more daylight, and that's when we call March Panaksaksivik, which means it's the best time. The reflection of the sakinyak, the sun, of the apun, the snow, is so strong that it's the best time to bleach your seal skins.
We finished. We were cleaning the seals, the uruk skin, cleaning it.
Cilia is the atmosphere, everything in the outside of the earth. Yeah. And what comes with it, fascinating, really fascinating.
Earth is covered by a thick atmosphere of gases, made mostly of nitrogen and oxygen. Earth's magnetic field acts as a buffer. It protects Earth from most of the charged particles the solar wind carries by deflecting the wind around Earth. Some of the charged particles get caught in Earth's magnetic field. The charged particles follow Earth's magnetic field lines to enter the atmosphere near Earth's poles. The charged particles slam into and energize gas particles in Earth's atmosphere, causing them to glow like a neon sign. This creates the northern lights. The aurora can be seen on most dark, clear nights, but an especially strong aurora usually occurs after a storm on the sun. It takes 1 to 4 days for the highly charged solar particles to reach Earth. The color of the lights depends on which types of gas the sun's charged particles run into. Green is most common and is caused by energized oxygen. Pale purple is from energized nitrogen, and red is energized oxygen at higher altitudes. Often, people see the purple lights as white or pale blue because the color is sometimes too faint for human eyes to perceive.
It's not an everyday occurrence that you see, and once you see them, they're fun to watch.
My grandpa would take me out and he'd say, Doreen, which means my son, I want you to see something here, is the Kiuguyat, Northern Lights. You see the colors up in the sky there? And I said, yeah, they look like they're chasing something.
They're playing a good football game up there. Having to watch them move around really fast and all of a sudden they're gone.
Then it disappeared.
Like game's over.
In that sense, we know that the spirits of our ancestors are happy.
And when you see them really dancing, then they know they're having fun playing football and really moving around.
There is the spiritual aspect of the Northern Lights, and then there's the physical aspect of the Northern Lights.
They were our source of light. November, about the 21st, is when the sun tips over the horizon. Here's the horizon. The sun goes down and we don't see it again. Okay, and we call that Nippivik. Nippi means for something visible to disappear over the horizon.
That's when the dark days come into this region, and we have no sunlight, no sun whatsoever for about 3 months up here on the Arctic. That's when the northern lights get really active.
When the stars are not showing and the moon is not showing, when the sky is just total black, and then the northern lights come out.
You can see things that you don't when there's no northern lights.
Give everything sort of that eerie glow.
When you're out there, you're lost and the sky's clear, you look for the northern light.
And you see which way the northern lights are going. It tells me where I'm going, where I'm at, and how long it takes to get there.
The northern lights was a weather indicator, letting the hunters know that the next day it was going to be really, really cold, so that way they're prepared for the cold weather. They're being out there hunting. Once they get really lively, then you still think about that, the stories that your grandparents told you, and it's still, you still talk about it now.
The term Kiuguyat is a northern light.
They bring on different feelings and different attitudes to different people.
When we see the northern lights, we usually all come outside and me and my mom snuggle together and we see them.
You know, my dad had always told us that the northern lights are a reminder that our ancestors are still here. In that time, what brought me about the northern lights were out, and you never see the northern lights in August. But that night it looked like a person standing. You could see the head, you could see the hands, you could see the legs. Both of the legs were right above my brother's house. And then it was really cool because we started whistling and hollering, and it started dancing, and it looked like somebody Eskimo dancing. And that's what made me think of my brother. And it was a few months before that where my other brother disappeared. That's what helped me understand when I saw the northern lights that night, that he's still there and he's with all our relatives, and they were having a big celebration.
The spirits of the ancestors. Some of them are racing as they play kickball, race across the sky really fast, chasing after the ball. It is when we dance, it is like we are connecting our spirits and we dance together as one. With the Kiuguyat, our ancestors who live with the Kiuguyat, will join us in the dance when we drum.
Kiuguyat. Northern lights. Yeah. What are the northern lights? Yeah, the northern lights. Yeah. Well, what I heard from the northern lights always play soccer with your head.
Sulungatu anilangale, sulungatu anilangale, Kayok tulong atuk anenya ngale. Uy, napigat. Inakalong lejo kayok tok bak. Napirak tok.